Thank you, Matt, and thank you, Kristen. Excellent governance and talented staff are truly at the heart of every successful nonprofit, and we are truly blessed with the caliber of people who come around our table. I want to extend my special thanks to the staff led by Michael Wilson, Sherry Landry, and Katie Merrow, my partners on the senior team. And Peter and Donnelly, let me add my thanks to you for your advice, your counsel, your humor, and your friendship over the last years. This is the 5th time I have had the pleasure of speaking to you as the president of the foundation. And I have to say, every year I turn around and I have this moment that just fills me with awe. It's partly because there's just so many people here. We have almost 900. People are crowded in the back, filling every seat. But more interesting than how many people are here tonight is who is here. So I'm going to take a minute and I'm going to introduce you to each other. So in the room tonight, we have the leaders of the state's largest businesses and smallest nonprofits, and vice versa. We have college presidents and we have college students. We have elected officials and we have grassroots advocates. We have entrepreneurs and academics, and we have farmers, and we have teachers, and we have educators, and we have public officials from every level of government. In this room are liberals and conservatives and independents. In this room are people whose families have been connected to the foundation for 50 years and connected to New Hampshire for 7 generations, and people who have been here for a few months. But we're all, I think, here for the same reason. There are people here from every county, from every region. I'm not positive there's someone here from each one of our 234 communities, but we're pretty darn close. So the question is, what brings such an eclectic crowd together? Now look, there's no big national headline speaker because frankly, I think you'd rather hear from some of the New Hampshire partners who are going to feature in a few minutes. We don't have a fancy 3-course sit-down dinner, but I'm going to guess that there's going to be a rush for that shrimp when the doors open. And they tell me tonight there's something called a cupcake tower. So I'm not sure what that is, but I think we can imagine it. And we have a short program. We keep it simple because we know that many of you are here because you want to get to what John Hoffman and Ellie Cochran call New Hampshire's ultimate schmooze-a-thon, which starts at about 6:20 tonight. But all those might be the small reasons, but there's something else that brings us here. And it's this. It is the powerful, I just realized I could cast a fly right into that river. Right? That was really cool. But something else brings us here, and that's that powerful affirmation of being with 900 other people who care deeply about New Hampshire and who translate that caring into action to make it better. So here's the deal. I think the people in this room get it. We understand that as Granite Staters, our responsibility goes far beyond taking care of ourselves and our families and our businesses. We have to step up. We do that with our time, our talent, our treasure, and we do it with our voice to take care of our communities and to take care of our neighbors less fortunate than we are. And that's why Kristen calls this, picking up on a line from Eric, our network for good. Being part of something bigger than ourselves, working together across sectors, across party lines, across generational divides. That's the New Hampshire way, and we gather here to affirm it. As I see it, that spirit is needed now more than ever before. We have more children living in poverty. Addiction is ravaging our towns and our families. Our workforce is not adequately prepared for the demands of the 21st century. Too many critical nonprofits meeting to solve those problems are struggling just to stay afloat. And so that brings us to our theme. What are you up to? And collectively, are we up to the challenge facing New Hampshire? So looking out on this room, I see so many positive answers to that question. Rob Hirschfeld's here. Bishop Hirschfeld is taking some of their underutilized churches in the Episcopalian Church and converting them to youth education centers and to food pantries. Kate Lusko is here from Stay Work Play. Do I have to say any more? Stay Work Play. Their mission of encouraging young people to stay in New Hampshire is embedded in their name. Maggie Fogarty and Patrick Tufts advocating for the homeless. Barbara and Dick Couch, who recognize their success at Hypertherm depends on a trained workforce and are rolling up their sleeves with their partners to make sure that's true everywhere in the state. Pamela Flam, city manager for Berlin and a key advisor for our Tillotson funds working to improve quality of life in the North Country. Howard Brodsky and Jim Putnam, both of whom were honored last night with the Granite State Legacy Award for living larger than themselves for their communities. Bob Wells, so many other trusted advisors who see philanthropy as integral to financial and estate planning and share those ideas with their clients. So the problem is, of course, I could be here all night calling some of you out. I know so many of you. My sister's in the 7th row. My sister just started a bike cooperative in downtown Manchester. I could do this all night. The point is, you all are doing something beyond yourselves. You're working or volunteering for a nonprofit. You're writing checks. You're teaching. You're mentoring a young person. You're serving in the general court for your $100 a year or on your municipal boards. You're going to the State House and you're speaking your mind about the decisions that our elected officials must make about the future of our state. And as you do all that, I'd like you to remember that the impact is not only on the work today, but it's on the example that you set for others. All that good work brings many words to mind for me. Inspiring, committed, hopeful, visionary. In every way, you work for New Hampshire. But there's one word that summarizes this for me, that captures the essence of what we do when we go beyond ourselves and work for New Hampshire. And that word is promise. In everything you do, that's what you're doing, fulfilling a promise. It describes, in short, what you're up to. And it also describes this foundation. The New Hampshire Charitable Foundation was founded in 1962 on a promise. And we have decided what that promise is. We promise to be an enduring source of philanthropic capital that's equal to the communities and the causes, the donors and the doers that depend on us. We commit to being a compassionate partner and a creator of partnerships. We commit to generous donors to help you amplify the power of your giving. To visionary nonprofit leaders to help you get your best ideas off the ground and to keep them there. To students as you map out a pathway to education and success. To thinkers and dreamers as you convene at the tables we call New Hampshire, including ours, to take on the biggest problems facing our state. We show through our actions, through our passion, and through our resolve that we believe in the people of New Hampshire, today, tomorrow, and always. As temporary stewards of this timeless institution, something I learned from Lou, nothing is more important to me, to our staff, to our boards, than being up to this promise. We strive to be up to this promise when we partner with donors and their advisors to drive change today and create a legacy for tomorrow. We strive to be up to this promise when we fund nonprofits on the front lines of social change, environmental protection, the arts, education, civic engagement, and more. We strive to be up to this promise when our scholarships bridge the gap between high school and employment for the state's most talented and deserving students. And we strive to be up to this promise when we advocate, in partnership with you, for responsible policy and budget decisions at all levels of government. An example right now is confronting the drug and alcohol crisis. Now, who remembers this young man from last year's annual meeting? His name is Alex. Alex's story of finding treatment to beat his heroin addiction brought us all to our feet and brought us to tears. In the last year, I can't tell you how happy I am to tell you that this young man is clean and sober and a freshman at Southern New Hampshire University. But during that same last 12 months, we lost 324 Alexes to overdose. Alex could be my son, your brother, your neighbor, everyday New Hampshire kid. And we lost those people because there simply is not enough support for prevention, treatment, and recovery, things that we know works and save lives. I can't accept that. And that's why we're in the State House every day working with both parties to increase support for effective treatment of substance use disorders. So perhaps more than anything else, we simply must be up to the promise of the next generation. And let me hover on this just for a moment. Last year at this event, we asked a very simple and profound question. How are the kids? The answer was not great, especially for the rising number who are growing up in low-income homes. This is a national problem that Robert Putnam calls the opportunity gap, the growing chasm that divides our kids based solely on how well their parents do. The American dream of upward mobility is increasingly out of reach for millions of young Americans, and it's evident and obvious here in New Hampshire. I see it in the Monadnock region. The Monadnock region is the Currier and Ives corner of New Hampshire. My family's been there for 7 generations, and it's lovely. But down those dirt roads, in those second-floor walk-ups in town, kids are hurting. Some of them go to school with my 9-year-old daughter, so I see it firsthand, and I see the obstacles that they face. So the question is, what does the future hold for them? And importantly, aren't these really all our kids? So last year I said, I'm going to come back and tell you what we're going to do about this. And over the last year, we have been working with scores and scores of partners to increase opportunities, especially for low-income kids, through early childhood development, innovation in public schools, more investment in adolescent behavioral health, especially drug and alcohol use, access to post-secondary education, not only getting into college, but finishing, not only 4-year, but 2-year programs and licensing programs, so the good jobs that the employers in this room have will match the skills of our youngest neighbors. Helping every young person achieve their promise, it's not only a social and a moral obligation, in my view, it's an economic imperative in a state with an aging population, a retiring workforce, and very slow growth. So our multi-year youth opportunity agenda, which we are developing, is called New Hampshire Tomorrow, Investing in Our Kids. You can find more on the website, and you're going to hear a lot more about this in the weeks and months to come. So this promise of New Hampshire, it's renewed every day by the actions of thousands of people, and we're going to hear 4 stories tonight. First, we'll hear how business and nonprofit leaders are helping each other amplify impact through the Entrepreneurs Foundation of New Hampshire. Immigration is changing the face of our communities for the better, bringing so much richness and cultural diversity and new neighbors. We'll hear how the Endowment for Health is helping our newest citizens connect with their new communities. Third, Harrison Durfee. Harrison Durfee is a recent college graduate who will tell you how a scholarship from the foundation is helping him fill his own promise and potential. And to close, we will announce the winner of the 2015 Caroline Gross Fellowship, which honors public servants who go above and beyond in keeping their oath to act in the interest of all citizens, regardless of party and ideology. So we're going to start. I'll be back after these stories, but we're going to start with Matt Reitmeyer.